One of my earliest memories from a professional film set is watching a frustrated filmmaker get repeatedly smacked in the face by a dying birthday balloon while a tiny Spanish first AD sprinted around trying to keep 100 people moving. At the time, I had absolutely no idea what I was looking at. I had just booked my first speaking role on the TV show Nashville. It was a huge scene with Hayden Panettiere, Christina Aguilera, and what felt like 100 background actors. Deep in the room was a guy sitting in a director's chair watching a monitor. Tied to the chair was a slowly deflating birthday balloon that seemed determined to make his day worse. Every time a take went sideways, he'd scrunch up his face in frustration. And every time, that balloon would drift down and hit him right in the face. Meanwhile, this guy named Fernando was absolutely flying around set, running to actors, running back to Video Village, calling for another take, answering questions, putting out fires. I almost heard him before I saw him. At the time, I assumed the guy in the chair was the one running the show. Years later, after spending more time on sets and after first ADing a project myself, I realized I had it backwards. Fernando was the one holding the whole thing together. He was the first assistant director. And that's one of the reasons I was excited to talk with today's guest. Emily Neumann is a veteran first assistant director whose credits include Captain Marvel, Nashville, the finale of Veep, and the Duplass Brothers' Room 104. Over the last 2 decades, she's worked her way through nearly every corner of production, giving her a unique perspective on what actually makes a set run. In this conversation, we talk about leadership, experience, working your way up, and why some of the most important people on set are often the ones audiences never see. I'm Natalie Rufino-Wilson, and this is Studio Monroe. Here's my conversation with Neumann.
Studio Monroe, where the real stories go.
How are you, Neumann?
I'm good. How are you, Natalie?
I'm good. Very pregnant.
I love it.
I actually have a question here. It's a very long one.
Okay. Ooh.
No, I was just thinking. So we worked together on, I think the first time I worked with you was on Still the King
Still
season
the
1.
King. I think so too.
It was like 2015.
Yes.
Yeah, season 1.
Season 1 would have been
at the end of 2016.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was in the props
You were doing
department.
props.
Yeah.
I remember this.
Working with Lily D.
Yes.
And but I also auditioned for one of the guest starring roles. And I remember it was such a unique position for me because like Kim Petrovsky was casting.
Did Sunny Mabry get that role? Do you remember which role it
That
was?
sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when you auditioned.
She was like the character was a Nashville scene journalist.
Yes, that's exactly who
It was like 2 or 3 character arcs over the episode.
Yeah.
2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember auditioning for the show and also simultaneously working on the show.
Yeah.
But I had also worked in the office. So like I'd worked in the office, then I'd moved to art, into props, worked, did the audition, then went back to shoot. So the following, I auditioned, say like on a Friday, came in on Monday. And I remember the DP, Blake McClure, coming up to me. He was like, I saw your audition and you were so great. I was like, well, thank you. And I remember
Was he like, I'm so sorry you didn't get the part? And you're like,
no, it was all positive. It was all positive. It was like, and I didn't really understand.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really know Blake. I'm like, why? He's up here and I'm assist. So I'm like, what's going on?
That's interesting that he saw your audition.
He saw my audition. And then Brennan, one of the writers, Kevin Brennan came over and he's like, I saw your audition. I'm like, what is everybody seeing my audition for? And I remember asking Kugler. And I was like,
one of the camera
operators. Yep. I think it was B-Cam. And I was dating at the time. And I was like, I don't understand why they keep coming up to me talking about this thing. He's like, oh, must mean that your tape is being shown for approval. And I was like, oh, this is the closest I've ever been.
Well, that show was I loved Still the King. It was a local show. Like that was a truly local from the ground up, like Nashville.
Oh yeah. Well,
show.
And they did the proof of concept with everybody and they came
everybody
back.
Knew each other and it was so like insular and like everyone was friends. Everyone knew each other. It was one of those sets where it was like, not no bad ideas, but if someone's like, what if we did this? And it'd be like, yeah, what if we did do that? And so like, because that group was so close and tight, like it's not surprising, but like, I don't think that's normal.
Well, what was crazy is I remember like it got to the point we were at Joey Lauren Adams' character is Debbie.
Debbie.
We were at that house. We were shooting Edge Hill.
In East Nashville. Wait, the East Nashville one?
Edge Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 16th Avenue or whatever. And with art, like completely, it was a hot set.
Yep.
It was the coolest experience I'd ever seen. But I remember John Pohl was directing the episode, that block. And he was like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And this may be like a week after everybody kept talking about me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure, I go on the front porch and he tells me, I've been fighting for you. Oh, I did too. I've been fighting for you. Everybody, we've been approved. Like I approved you. I loved your, audition. CMT approved you. But one of the creators of the show wanted to bring their friend on. And it was just like, this miscommunication or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I left feeling, and he was like, don't stop doing what you're doing. Very, very encouraging.
Yeah.
Very nice guy. So I left and I was going to the bathroom, which was on the street.
Yep.
And in walks on the street Neumann with her prelim to set.
Uh-huh.
And I guess I looked like I was angry and sad.
Okay.
And
I don't remember this.
And you stopped me and you're like, you okay?
Who hurt you?
Yeah.
Tell
you're
me.
like, what's wrong? Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm okay. And started getting emotional. And you're like, what happened? And I told you like a quick version of what happened.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what you said exactly, but the way that it made me feel, what did I write here? Yeah. So you acknowledged that it sucked, that it wasn't fair, but it wasn't the end of my story.
I said that?
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
It was so good. And I haven't forgotten that.
Man.
And so it made me think of something at the time. I know you were second ADing.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like anybody puts professional morale officer on the call sheet.
No, they do not.
But over the years, I've noticed some of the best ADs spend a lot more time managing people than just schedules.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of curious, do you think kindness is an underrated part of the leadership in this business?
I do. I think for ADs, you're in a really tricky position. Thank you for telling me that story. I don't remember that.
You're welcome.
I think it's really hard. So I make a joke about ADs of like, everyone's like, they're the glue, they're this, they're that. And I'm like, I just yell out what time it is. But it's not that. It's like, it's twofold. A lot of it is managing time and schedule, but the other half is managing personalities.
Totally.
And balancing those personalities. And like when you're on a show like Still the King, which we had so many great people on that show. And it was one of those shows where it was like, hey, what if like Slap Fighter 5? They're like, what if we did this? And you're like, whoa, hold on.
Don't just throw something in.
Because then now we have to make that happen.
Yeah.
But it's also like with people and with like this industry has a way of being disposable that isn't cool, but also it takes a lot. I think it takes time and experience to realize like you didn't get that role, but like the fact that, and it sucks because someone is always going to have a friend that's going to get something that you should, right? And that happens to me too.
It was an early learning lesson for me as an actor.
But it doesn't change like what you brought to the show. And I think with actors too, and I deal with actors every day and like.
Yeah, physically.
Truly.
You're always talking with them.
Absolutely. And like, and scheduling that. And we had an actor on our set. I'm on a show right now that was having a really hard time. And we were technically having a hard time with camera timing, and there was like a rack focus that had to be involved. Yeah. But the director wasn't talking to her. They were talking to the camera and like, well, we have to do it again and we have to do it again. And I took one look at this girl's face and I pulled her aside and I was like, here's the deal.
It's nothing to you.
You're doing an incredible job. You're hitting your mark.
Yeah.
You know your lines. There are 14 other things happening that have nothing to do with you, but I know it feels it's all on you and it's not. And you're doing a great job.
I'm so glad that you did that because I remember as a younger actor being in a situation with a lot of moving parts and only understanding because of being behind the scenes so much that it had nothing to do with me.
Right.
And so I didn't lose confidence.
Yeah.
And I would try to remind my other actors in the scenes.
Yeah,
because hey, this isn't about
like
us.
You're front and center and you are, but there's 100 other things happening.
And I think for a director too, it's hard because they're just trying to get that thing that they want. And they're not going to talk to the person doing the thing that is working.
Right.
They want to go try to fix the thing that's not working.
Right. Or like you hear a cut and they're like, we got to go again. And you're like, what happened?
Was it me? That's why I like it when ADs go, we're going to go again for camera.
Yes. And then sometimes they'll be like, wasn't for me. And I'm like, just speak.
Yeah. Or sometimes they're like, we're just going to go again. And I'm like, that's because I sucked.
Or like last week, I was like, well, we got to pause for a lighting adjustment. And Drew was like, it's not an adjustment. We're having a malfunction. And I was like, it's much faster for me to say it that way. Having an adjustment.
Drew Fraser?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's really funny. Actually, so for the people that are listening right now, could you just explain a little bit about the different
what
ADs?
I do?
Yeah, because I know you've been a production assistant, then you went into seconding.
Yeah, I kind of came
first.
Came up through the ranks. So there's usually on a show, so you have a first AD, whether it's a movie or a commercial or a TV show, like there's a first AD and they set the schedule and they run with the keys. Like say if you're on a movie, like you'll take this script, you'll break it down, you'll put it into a shooting schedule. You'll work with every department and keys to be like, okay, we can't shoot the library on Tuesday. Okay, but this actor's only available on Wednesday. Like there's so many. Oh, it's
it's always the actor's not available.
Well, it's usually the locations will bone you too.
Both.
It is both. And then it's like what's more important?
Yes.
Do you want this location or do you want that person?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've got to compromise. And like I'm working with a newer director right now that like doesn't fully. It's hard to make those compromises when you don't understand why you have to.
Oh yeah, it's hard. It's like I like it's a constant moving target. It's a dance
for sure, and all you're doing is making
and
decisions.
you have to cut some stuff sometimes to make adjustments.
Yeah, and it's also like what's more important to you? Is it the person or the place? That's your call. I don't. We can shoot at the library for 9 days with a stapler. I don't care. But if you want this person, and that's more important, then we have to
switch a location.
Find a location that works.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not the best location, but what do you want? And I can't make that call.
I always, as a producer, love ADs when I'm able to talk to them in terms of like, how many looks can I get out of this one location?
Absolutely. And I think that comes with experience.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
And also knowing like, sometimes there's such a preciousness with like, well, everything has to be perfect all the time.
Right.
And it won't be. It can't be. Like life isn't.
Yeah.
And I heard a quote, and I can't remember who said it, but it was like, you can have anything. You just can't have everything. So it's like, pick what you think is important or what will impact the story more, and let's go off of that.
That's such an interesting thing it's so true.
Yeah. And it's weird if you think about it because you're like, anything is anything. But it's like, but not everything, right? Is it the actor or is it the location?
Right. And it doesn't matter the budget. I know like.
Totally. Well, and I told our director that too because she was like, I don't have enough time. I was like, nobody ever has enough time.
No, it could be a $40 million
That sounds crazy,
thing,
but no one ever has enough time.
Yeah. It's just, you end up slowing everything down when you have more money.
And then you have to have more shit.
Yeah.
So like the more money you have, the higher tier you are.
Now you have
the more stuff you have, the more stuff you have to drag
more
around.
Baggage.
You need more place to put all your stuff.
Yep.
And it's just like
ever evolving.
It's a snowball.
So for the listeners, a first AD is working with logistics.
Oh yeah, sorry. That was
That's okay. So for first AD is working with logistics, the director, looking at the script, trying to time things out.
Yeah, you're kind of working with every department to be like, if we're filming this scene here, what do we need for it? What's the timing? What's the gear? What's the place? Where does it fit in our schedule? If you're on a night exterior, you can't start the week with that.
Right.
Because you have to have turnaround and crew has to have time off.
Unless everything is overnights. When you're a vampire movie.
I try really hard not to do that. I've done that a couple times.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, that vampire movie.
True Blood, I remember they talking about it was all brutal. Overnights. I remember thinking, I would love to be on that show. And then I read something where...
Nope, absolutely not.
There were
actors, all night exteriors.
Yeah, well, then sometimes they would have to do day stuff because of, I forget her name.
Suki,
yeah, for her character.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, now going, how the hell... did they schedule this?
Yeah, so that's like, it's a huge Tetris thing of like, I keep making a joke, I'm going to do OnlyFans, but it's only ADs and it's just me like making schedules. But like there's so many, this sounds weird, but the schedule will make itself clear at some point. Like it'll fall into place in a way of like, well, this has to be here and this has to be there because of X, Y, and Z. And like
you have boundaries.
You do. And the day and I love a boundary. And the day and the night work of it will balance itself out. And it's like, do you need a week of nights? Or are we have enough nights in different locations? I can start the week during the day and end on nights and keep getting later in the week. Yeah. And that's usually what happens unless there's like a big set piece that you need nights.
Right.
I did a movie in Boston called Grown Ups 2 that we had. Half the movie was this backyard night costume party.
Okay.
And so you're like, let's like, but we built, you know how the Titans have like a practice bubble?
Yeah.
So we built a bubble and we built the back of the house and the backyard in this bubble.
That's money.
It was, talk about having money. Jeez. I don't even know.
That is money.
That's when you're like, yeah, fuck around money.
Fuck you money.
Let's build a stage. You're not just building something on a stage, right? It's like, and so it was a black bubble. So we could film nights all the time. And it was on like, and those are the decisions, like when you're producing or when you're putting stuff together, it's like, where is it more important to spend this money? If I spend the money and make or build something on a stage,
right,
or the reality to make it be able to do day for nights, or like if you're in a house, like Laura Kreiner and I did something where we tented a house to be night interior to shoot during the day
for multiple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't do it just for one day.
God, no.
I mean,
you
somebody
shouldn't.
would try.
I mean, you could do anything. You have enough time and money, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
When you don't, but it's that, what's the weight of it, right? Is it, so for us on Grown Ups 2, it was much better to spend the money to build the back of this house in a bubble to shoot for a month and a half nights because we had kids, we had stunts, we were like
kids.
out of the zone. So like spending that money to make that work it for the schedule is worth it in that point.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the natural progression into co-producing or producing when you're doing a first AD job.
Yeah. I've done a fair amount of co-producing. I've produced 2 full things on my own, like a series that was 6 episodes with Duplass, and then a movie called Magic Hour, which is actually out now.
Coming. Okay, it just came out.
It just came out in theaters.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's crazy to like get things on a theater these days, like
Dude,
on a screen.
tell me about
it's
it.
so hard.
Yes, it is. I've had 2 movies in the theater, and it was a process.
Yeah, for sure. Because like, it's that, again, that money and time. And,
Well, and then you'll get theaters and they take with the distribute, for
absolutely. And like, is
that's
it
a
worth
different
it?
conversation, but it's
and at the
you
price
have to
point you
ask.
made your movie on, it's like, is it worth it? That, and everything's on streaming now, so like,
you have to ask yourself, is this a theatrical movie?
right? Luckily, and ours was like, we
Good.
shot in the desert in Joshua Tree on anamorphic lens. It's like, it's absolutely stunning. And so like, for people to get to see that, like, it should be seen on the big screen.
Right.
So for us to work out a deal, Duplass worked a deal with Greenwich.
Cool.
For distribution. So there's
Okay.
a theater. It's not in every theater. It's in select cities. It opened in New York and LA, and there's like a handful of other ones.
But if it does well, they'll start to.
Yeah. And then it goes on streaming, and then you can find it too.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
yeah.
So the natural progression of producing, take it back to like second ADing, because you spent a lot of time doing that.
I was a second for probably 10 years.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So because when I met you, you were already seconding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I was the key second on Still the King. So there were 2, the way we shot that show, and a lot of TV shows, there's you block shoot.
Right.
And so like, you'll do like 2 episodes, and while you're filming 2 episodes, the director for the next episode and the first AD will be prepping this episode. So the crew stays on the whole time.
Right.
But the directors and the ADs kind of, sometimes the DP will jump. So like, they'll prep while you shoot, and then this one will shoot, and then the next one will prep, and then they'll shoot. So
you have a director with a first AD and a second AD as a pairing.
yeah, it's sometimes there's only, I was the only second.
That's crazy.
It sucked because
that's crazy.
I'm shooting and prepping all the time together. It's really hard.
That sounds so difficult.
And that on Room 104 was the same thing, but it was different on Room 104 because we were on a stage. We were a stage show.
That's nice.
And so, like the directors and the firsts would prep, but we only shot 3 or 4 days an episode. So I was just shooting and prepping all the time. And
oh my gosh.
because it was contained, it was easier. Still the King was really hard to be the only second.
I imagine, because like Scarpetta's shooting right now, and they've got
They have two
different seconds and with 2 different firsts.
That's how it usually is.
Yeah. Because I wonder, because Still the King had so many cast.
I know.
So for you to be, so for the people who don't know what a second AD does, you're building call sheets, working with talent.
Yeah. So like the first AD does the schedule and all the logistics and figuring out like, this is what our shoot schedule looks like.
Right.
And then the second AD, it's like kind of 2 sides of a coin. And then the second AD manages the cast and the crew. So if I'm like, this is what our week looks like, then the second takes my one-liner and then makes the call sheet, which is like the daily schedule, who's working every day, what actors are working every day, what scenes are we working every day. So the call sheet's like the shooting schedule is like your blueprint for the show. And then the call sheet is your blueprint for the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And the first AD who builds the one-liner.
Yes.
Anybody who is anybody on set, it wants to know what the hell that one-liner says.
They want it so
bad. I know badly. As a producer, I'll get a timed one-liner.
I love a timed
and I go, do not give this. I make them put
like,
names on it. I don't want any other producers to see this, or I don't want any talent to see this. No offense to talent.
Yeah.
They'll start going, oh yeah, Tuesday, make dinner plans because I'm supposed to get out
here
at
I only start at 11 and you're like, no, that's going to change.
Yeah, definitely change.
Jinx the entire thing. Yeah, because it'll jinx it, right?
Oh yeah.
Like we're very superstitious.
Well, I feel like you lose a location or
because like weather or like somebody's flight got delayed.
This is just our template to go into to have an idea.
Best case scenario.
Yeah. Catering needs it. You don't need it.
Right. Locations needs it. The third grip doesn't need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's so interesting. So, okay. And then seconding.
So then second. So if the first is on set running set and they're running the crew, the second is at base camp running cast. So they're making sure everyone's ready for whatever scene in whatever outfit, or if they have changes or like what that's happening. And then they're also helping with logistics. So I'm like, hey, we have a company move at 4:00. The second is putting everything into place. So when the first is like, all right, we're on the move, the second's like, great, the vans are there. That person's going to that location. This person's coming here. You're wrapped out of there. And then the second is kind of with the first.
Right. Running mainly background.
Usually a lot of background. And then also logistics. Like if I know we're filming this way, but we're about to turn around that way, I'm like, what? I need my second. Go make sure all that shit's out of the way. Because when I turn around, if there's 4 trucks there, I'm going to have a stroke. And then we're not going to make our day. Yeah. So they're like, the second is kind of the right hand of the first.
Right. On set.
On set.
Yeah. I remember as a working in art department for so long, especially props, second, I would always become very good
for
friends.
Sure. Because they know what's coming up next.
Yeah. I'm not going to go to the first.
Right.
You know,
and
unless it's like legitimately
there's a
thing
real
and my
problem.
boss has asked for something.
Yeah.
But I feel like, as a props assist, I can go to the second.
And I think it takes time to figure out who you talk to who about and what. And like that just comes with experience too.
It does come with experience.
Yeah. So I came all the way up. So I started as a PA and then was a second and then was a key second for a long time. And then was a first. And I've UPM'd a little bit, but I mainly live in the first world.
Have you produced something without ADing it, or is it always AD?
No,
I
haven't.
As a producer?
So I do want to get into that because I've been in.
Sure?
Well, maybe not. Honestly, that's a good question because I feel like I don't know.
You might need to have your select on who your AD is.
Well, that's the thing too, and I feel like with producing, like it's because it takes so much time and so much juggle, and it's for such a length. Like you're in prep, you're in shooting, you're in post. Like Magic Hour, I was the producer on. And I was also the first AD. And so it is linked because you know the schedule so intimately and you know all the working pieces. It makes sense that you're also producing. And but when we started filming, like, do you know Allison Joy? Gale,
I love her.
An incredible producer.
Yeah. She does a lot more like docu
She
style.
does a lot of doc stuff.
Yeah.
But I called her because I knew her here. But when I moved to LA, I think she moved a couple years later. And then we ended up living in the same neighborhood. And
cute.
So I called when Magic Hour came up because we didn't have a ton of money. And I was like,
who do I know who I feel confident can help me?
Yes, because the prep is fine. But once we're in shooting mode and I'm the first AD, I can't do everything. So I was like, who do I trust? And also, who do I want to spend this amount of close time with to help make this happen? And so I called her and I was like, do you want to go in the desert with me for a month? And
I'm sure she's like, hell yeah.
She was like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, thank God, because I can't do this by myself. And having people, you're much a bigger producer than I am, but who your team, building your team is so important.
It really is. You know, I look at my EP sometimes and they'll have an opinion about, who my production manager is or, their coordinator. And I go, all due respect, you're not working with that person.
Absolutely.
I think producers that chime in on DPs and things like that make sense. But I would never be a producer unless there was a legitimate reason to tell a DP who their first AC is going to be.
Totally.
You know what I mean? That is
I feel
your
strongly
team.
Departments should be able to build their own departments.
They should because they have a shorthand, they have an understanding. Unless there's some red flag that I see.
Yeah.
I'll say no, but I'm not going to dictate to you.
No, you should be able to build your own team.
And I feel like that to me shows the veteran of a producer, not somebody new coming in and going I'm going to get my friend on this.
Exactly.
Because
half the time their friend is like, oh, you worked at Macy's? Great.
Yeah. Or you did a couple short films and that's great.
Right.
But have you worked your way into this thing? Actually brings me to another question I have because I've been thinking about this a lot lately.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I came into the industry a little differently. I started off as an actor.
Yeah.
And I always have been sort of student first, taking a lot of acting classes, improv classes, casting workshops, just trying to learn to try to be the best at something and try to get that expertise going versus coming in trying to convince somebody that I'm already an expert at something. And I feel like lately I've been seeing, and I also started freelancing at 27. Okay. So maybe if it had been 18, 19, 20 years old, I have a different perspective. But I'm seeing people now not production assistants and things like that work on 1 or 2 jobs and then all of a sudden they're producing or.
Yeah, I have a problem with that.
And I look at you and Kyler and Joe and Allison. Allison was an actor who started
Yeah.
doing a bunch of stuff. Like,
And she was doing costuming before. She
Yeah,
was
I remember her doing
producing.
costuming,
Me
like,
too.
a ton of stuff.
I've done movies with her as a costumer.
yeah. And like we've worked together and I was props,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I've worked in like almost every department.
Yeah.
And I feel like I worked my way up into understanding the big picture. Do you feel like we're mentoring a different generation to think differently, or
Yeah, I think the way we make movies has definitely changed, but I also think the way people come into what they do is different. So like, I think there's a lot of like content creators and there's newer ways to make content.
Sure.
But that doesn't translate to like movies and TV, right?
Yeah, there's still a craft.
Right.
Mhm.
And so I feel pretty strongly about like I can tell someone, if there's a producer on set, I can tell they've never been a PA. Like
Wait,
true.
how?
How they move, what they ask for,
Yeah.
the things they say, what they
Yeah.
like expectations.
PA Nation, can I get a printer? And you're like, you don't know their name. Like, could we
Yeah.
just got here.
Right.
We just did a location move. Your
I had
printer's
someone
not
be
a
like,
big
hey,
thing.
can we get a wet down? And I was like, what? We could have a week ago if you told me that ahead of time. But
Oh,
also
yeah.
like,
They don't know what the wet down is.
you're not the person that should be asking for that. Did the DP want a wet down? We would have brought that up.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a specific example. But I think for me coming up through the ranks, and I'm not saying everyone needs to do what I do in any way, but because I came up through each position, I know, and I've been on set so much, like I know, like if we're gonna go on the dolly, I know how long it takes. I know what that means.
You know the estimate of time.
right?
Yeah. you
Like,
can- and
yeah,
that's
let's just make a
important.
circle dolly track, and you're like, whoa,
Whoa.
hold on, we did not plot that into our
Yeah,
day. That's
yeah,
like
yeah.
45 minutes.
That is, yeah, that's a lot.
And like, I think with newer, this is tricky too. And as a producer, I want your take on this because
Okay.
it's.
I'll tell you.
Everyone should have a chance. Everyone needs a chance to step up. Like I got to step up into
Absolutely.
a second. Everyone takes that first couple jobs where
Yeah.
they're stepping up and they're trying stuff out. You can't have too many new people at the same time stepping up and it will not work.
No.
You need the adults, as I call them. Like I need a grown up in the room to be like, you can't do that and here's why. Because half the time, if I say something to a director or a DP, they're like, you're just doing that because we're off the schedule. And I'm like, yes, but I also know what you're asking and what you mean by that. So like, there needs to be like, not a stopgap. What's the right word? There needs to be like an overarching adult that can be like, hold on, here's why we can't do that.
An adult in experience.
And someone to back me up when I'm like, here's why we can't do that.
Yes.
Help me.
So you're not the only one.
Because-
because then you look like the asshole.
Yes. And
Yeah.
like, my no doesn't always matter.
Well, and it
You
does,
know what I mean?
It does more when you're co-producing.
Absolutely.
Which was like another question I had is like, did that come because it gave you an opportunity to speak up in terms that a first AD doesn't really have
Yes.
the right to say?
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think when you're building something, like I was a co-producer on this show, Penelope, that's on Netflix. And it was an 8-episode run. It was a limited series.
Mhm.
We had the same director and the showrunner, Mel Eslin, who works with Duplass. She is Duplass. And it was a Duplass show. But like it's very rare to have, like we cross-boarded this like a movie.
Mhm.
So we did 8 episodes and we shot out of order because, you know, you got to shoot. We were moving around Washington. We were in a bunch of different
Oh,
locations. So like in that situation, like you have to shoot out locations
Mhm. Oh, for sure.
so that you're not backtracking. Like you have to schedule it in a way where you're like, we're here and we're out. We're here, we're out. And then we had to organize it in a way through the state that made sense. So you weren't like bringing trucks that's right.
Yeah.
So, but working that closely with the director and the showrunner to build the schedule and to build the world, like being a co-producer on that and saying like, here's why we can't, and
Right.
like, this isn't going to work
Right.
is super helpful.
It really is. I mean, I found that, you know, Kyler first did one of my first movies that was, you know, like a low budget, but
Is
$3
it
million.
the Christmas one?
No, it was Someone Like You, Karen Kingsbury, Someone Like You.
Okay.
And he was my first AD. This was in 2022 when we shot it.
Yeah.
And he would bring up really important things that as my husband, I could take and go, that's really great. But as a first he was
Like overstepping.
he was overstepping, but like not in a
hard.
bad way. I was grateful to hit it, but he was reluctant because he's like, ooh, I don't really want to upset anybody. So on the
Yeah.
second movie, when he first hit, I went to Karen and Tyler, the director, and I was like, I need him to be a co-producer because I need him to feel the ability to speak up.
Yeah, and to be like,
feel
we can
confident
do
in
that,
that.
but this is what it affects.
Yeah, because
It's that balance, right?
I always think like and this kind of goes back to your point of, you know, seeing a producer who you're like, you've never PA'd or maybe you paid one day.
Yeah.
Is seeing somebody like Kyler who's also just worked up the ranks and is a writer director, but you know, is in the DGA
Yeah.
QL for being able to AD. And it's like promoting him to producer status was not just to give him the title. It was because that came with power that I needed to do a better job as a lead producer. Yes. And I recognized that.
Well, and you can kind of figure out, like, there was a situation where, like, we had to change the schedule on a shoot, and one of the producers was like, just switch this and that. And I'm like, hold on. There's like 4 reasons why we shouldn't do that.
Oh, I love when they just chime in.
They're like, just put that on that day. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, first of all,
stop talking.
You know, location availability, actor availability, but we're going into nights, and now you're trying to add something after that. Yep. Turnaround is an issue. The actors, the crew, like how you're trying, now we're traveling an hour to get that. So like, we're not going to have enough daytime to get what you think you need. Mm-hmm. And then my favorite.
Is it your favorite though?
When someone's like, we'll just shoot faster. And I'm like,
oh God. What does that even mean?
Sure. Well, sure.
How do you shoot? They don't shoot faster.
You can't shoot faster. And like, it's not a thing. Like, it takes the time to set up, unless, okay, what are you compromising on so we can film faster?
Yeah. And this is where it's like,
is this available light?
Yeah.
Are we
combining shots?
Or how many setups are we losing?
Yeah. Oh, we aren't losing any setups.
Of course we're not. But we'll just shoot them faster. Well, that doesn't matter. I'll just do one less take of everyone. I'm like, that
doesn't do anything.
2 seconds. That doesn't matter.
You should probably go again.
Should we just keep going?
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Shoot through lunch. But like, it's so frustrating because I want you to make the best movie you can make. I want to be here to help you do everything I can.
Support you, yeah.
I will run this crew for you. I will make things happen. But when we get into situations where you're like, what if we went? And you're like, oh, hold on.
Yeah,
we didn't prepare for that. If you want to do that, that's 2 hours out of your day. Your call. Do I think you should? No.
Where do you want to take the 2 hours from?
And that's where the compromise don't happen.
Yeah.
And that's when it gets frustrating. And that's when you need a producer to be like, hey guys.
I feel like that's constantly me in situations where I come in and I'm like, I'm really, I think people like me during prep, and then we go to shoot and there's a problem. And I basically am just like, no.
Well, I'm like, we have an hour. What do you want to do with your hour?
We're not doing this.
I'm like, and can we have overtime? We cannot. So what does the next hour look like?
Right.
What do you need to get to make this work?
Yeah. Somebody asked me that question on the last film. It was like, well, can we give them overtime? And I'm like, yeah, technically everybody's getting 4 hours of overtime because the film industry thinks 12 hours is a standard workday.
Right.
So are you asking for a 5th hour of OT?
Yeah. We were in a situation where it was a night exterior and things were not going well. And it was like, we need overtime. I was like, we are in overtime.
Yeah. I mean, 8 hours straight time.
Yeah.
And then you go into
overtime. Time and a half, then you get into double time. God forbid you have
God forbid, I mean, well, God forbid you've got Teamsters. The strongest union of them all.
Than any of us. but it's that give and that take. And that's where, like, I feel like creatively, like, I can't decide for you. Like, you tell me what's more important. Again, it goes back to the, like, you have to pick your choices. And then you have to stick with it. And then you sometimes need other people to be like, remember, guys, we picked this, we're moving on.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, I've been doing this for a little while. And do you ever feel, you don't have to name any names.
Yeah.
But do you ever feel, unless you want to, but do you ever feel like maybe the people leading the charge, either it be the producer or the director, aren't exactly like, they came in with a really great vision and it's falling apart as we're going, and you actually end up stepping into a territory that's technically not your responsibility.
Yeah.
But because if a producer doesn't take over and a director's not doing it, it either becomes you or the DP. Yeah,
and it's true. And I think there's a give and a take. And I think the DP, and that's when having a strong DP, especially, so it's like this balance, right? Like if you have a newer director, you need a more experienced DP.
Thank you.
100%.
Thank you.
Because, and it has to balance it out. There can't be 2 new people, because then they're both going to hit walls and struggle. And 1,000%. It's like, and that's when a strong producer can step in or should step in, or a strong AD can be like, hey guys, we're looking this way, finish your coverage, turn around, get out, or whatever it is. Like, you can problem solve together. But I think having that support, and that goes back to building your team, right?
Yes.
That goes back to putting people in positions that will get you through this show.
And
whatever
it's not just a feeling.
No.
Like, and I understand directors and even producers who are like, well, I just have a feeling about this kid, or I have a feeling about this person. I'm like, but you also need to match with what they're doing. But you don't know
what they're doing.
Like, what are they going to be under stress?
Well, that's the thing too. Like when it's 3 a.m. and you're an hour behind and you're not done with your day and it starts raining, like, is that kid that you had a feeling about gonna pull you through your day?
Maybe, but is this
that how you want to find out?
Is this the project to take that chance?
Right. And sometimes your feeling works out, and sometimes people surprise you.
Right. But then sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's on the backs of who?
And then we still have to pull it together and finish your day.
Yeah, because, assistant directors notoriously are known, first ADs, as dying young.
Oh, yeah, 54.
Something crazy?
Yeah, the average lifespan of a first AD in the DJ is 54.
That's crazy. And it's because it reminds me of that movie that Damien Chazelle did.
Which one?
Babylon.
Yes, I never saw it.
Okay, so there's a scene when they transition from silent film. Where everything's wacky and just like loud and chaotic.
Yeah.
And then it's the introduction of sound. And you should go home and just YouTube that scene because the first AD role becomes very important.
Yeah.
And he's losing his mind. And it is hysterical to watch because the sound created this element of professionalism that I guess didn't really exist in film industry in a silent film era.
That's interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah, because it's like you can hear everything.
Right.
It affects everybody.
Yeah. And
And now the silence affects everybody. You know what I mean?
yeah, in a different way.
In a different way. So this is kind of a while back, maybe 2022, 2021. I first AD'd a project.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a $30,000 short film.
Did you like it?
I did, except I had this crazy experience. So I did scheduling and did all this stuff.
Yeah.
And showed up on the day. It was just a little proof of concept we were doing for a film. And I found that everybody needed me all the time. Where do I put Crafty?
Yep.
Where is
Every
Video
decision.
Village?
Yeah.
Where's the car being parked? Or are we doing between the DP and the director, I felt so needed.
Yeah.
And I really excelled. I felt.
Some people can step up under that type of pressure, and some don't do well.
Well, at the end of the day, and we wrapped, nobody needed me anymore. And I had this incredible sense of loss. It was so weird.
What do I do?
I went home and I told Kyler, I said, there's like this psychological side of AD. And do you ever feel this way where like people need you all the time and then all of a sudden they don't need you anymore? And he said, yeah, all the time. And I'm like, so do you ever feel that? Do you ever have this like, what is that like? Because you guys spend your lives doing this.
I think my mom has told me from a very young age I was quite the bossy child. So yeah. So it's no surprise I ended up as a first AD. But I think it's hard to balance that out. Like when I get home, like if I'm in a relationship, if they're like, hey babe, what do you want for dinner? I'm like, I don't care. Just I need someone else to make decisions.
Yeah.
I don't want to come home and be like, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. Tell me where I'm going to dinner. I am hungry. And all I've done all day is talk to everyone and make every decision and be in charge. So like, I just need to like decompress and like not be in charge anymore. And I think there is a psychological issue with crew in general of when you work on long-term shows and when you're busy for 12, 14 hours a day for months straight, when you get off a job, it's very difficult to be like, now what do I do? Because you're used to filling your day and your time and you're so on the go. And to turn that off and to be like, well, now where's my next job coming? What am I doing next week? Like you can sleep for 4 days and decompress and like have a weekend, but then you're like, what do I do now?
I'm feeling a little antsy.
Yeah. And like my dad makes fun of me because he's always like, God, you're always worrying about something. He's like, just don't worry until there's something to worry about. And I'm like, but there's always something to worry about. And like, I get my brother and I, we took the kids to Disney and I like AD'd our entire trip because it was like, the kid's going to need a nap. My dad's going to need a nap. I'm going to get hungry. My other brother's going to get overwhelmed. It's like, we got to map all this out. And so like,
I find that when we go on I don't know, vacation or there's a large group and we're going to dinner, you can tell that the group is filmmakers because we all start ADing or start producing the situation, coordinating.
I went to Disney, me and Mel, a bunch of Duplass kids, me and Mel and Drew Langer and Shirley, like we, instead of getting each other wrap gifts, Drew Langer actually was like, we're going to do experiences instead.
Oh, I love that.
Same. And so
that's cool.
We did an adult Disney day, not like crazy adult Disneys, but like we're grown-ups going to Disney. And then you can get this thing where it's like, you can have like a Disney person take you around.
Oh, fun.
But it was like ADing ADs. Because we were like, okay, this is how we're going to map out our, if I'm spending this money to go to Disney, we're knocking everything out. Like if we're cheating the lines and we're getting through it, we're going to figure out where are we starting? What do we go through? And like the Disney guy was like our AD, but we kept being like, no, we have to go here next because of the optimal like timing of the line. And she's like, I think I know better than you guys how Disney works. But having like 4 ADs with a leader, it was like.
That's so, so obviously I'm pregnant. We're having babies.
Yes.
And I told.
Oh gosh. Do you think they're going to be in film?
Oh my God, no, I hope not.
Oh God.
Maybe, I don't know.
Between you and Kyler?
I know.
Oh, I can't wait.
I got a doula.
Nice.
And I did not know what a doula was, but I figured it out.
Kind of like a baby AD? Is that right?
Yeah, so when we had the meeting with her, she actually
we should just be doula.
She was a consultant on Scarpetta for some.
Oh, like a medical?
Yeah, she's a doula, but she was like some kind of medical consultant on like an episode. And so Kyler got her info and I contacted her and she kept asking me questions. I said, look, here's the deal. He's an AD. I'm a producer.
Like you're going to have a hard time.
I need an AD for this production.
100%.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've had friends call me for weddings to be like, can you AD my wedding? And I'm like, I guess I can. Do I want to do that? I don't know. But I could. Like it is transferable skills.
1,000%.
Producing too.
Yeah.
Just making shit happen.
I mean, that is kind of the job.
Yeah. I mean, that's being a mom too, right?
I don't know.
We'll find out.
We're going to find out.
I think it is.
I'm
not worried about you guys as parents. I can't wait. It's going to be...
Really?
Yes. You guys are
that's
going to
so
be
sweet.
incredible.
Thanks.
I told Kyler the same thing. I was like, I'm not worried about you guys at all.
That's really sweet.
Like, we'll all be there.
Yeah.
But like, you'll figure it out. I mean, it's always a change. It's like a new project. Like, it's always a change.
This is going to be like a new project.
100%.
It's a very long, it's like doing Boyhood. I'm literally, because I'm having a boy, so we're doing
exactly
Boyhood part 2.
That should be the theme. Yeah. Yes.
So I want to say that, and then we can move into the end of this, but logistics and scheduling and paperwork, I think that's what a lot of people think ADs do.
Yeah.
Is there part of the job that most people don't see?
Oh, yeah. I think most people not in the industry think a assistant director is the director's assistant. And that's like the furthest thing from it.
That can be a role.
That is a role.
But that's not
what we do. And it's not, we're not, it's almost like you're the show's assistant, right? Like I'm trying to think of the best, I don't know the best way to describe it, but it's like you're the captain of the ship, even though, or maybe you're more like the cruise director, or because there's so many pieces, like at that level between the director and the DP and the first AD and even like the locations manager and like the line producer, the UPM, like those are the top level things where you're like on the same page, figuring out how to actually make what the director wants be real. Because the director will walk into a space and be like, I want it hazy and sexy. And you're like, great, what the hell does that mean? But between art and how you shoot it and the lighting and how you film it and like all that, like you all make it come into play. So I think the first AD is kind of the linchpin with all the departments to bring everything together.
I think so. That makes sense.
Right? So I don't know how to, I've only ever been like a waitress. Like I don't know I've never worked in like.
I was a waitress and then I was in the film.
Pretty much. Yeah. So like I don't have like some people come from like tech jobs or like, not tech, but like real jobs or like corporate jobs. And like, I don't know how to equate it in that world.
Right. Like. You're like a project manager. Yeah.
But it's like, again, to go back to what you do, it's like half your job is managing time, but more of it's managing personalities.
It's really interesting too, because this has been a problem. I say it's a problem. It's a challenge in our industry. We don't really have an HR department.
Oh God, no. And that's
especially in an indie film.
And that's an issue.
It becomes.
So then I'm HR.
It becomes first AD or if it's I don't know, maybe male producers get this too, but as a female producer, I feel like I get that a lot. Like
as a female first AD, I'm
sure
I get everything.
Yeah.
Like it's all on me all the time. And like I was on a project and the producers, it was a bit of a sensitive content. And I do a safety meeting every morning. We have morning meetings. We go through safety. We talk about what the day is. Like, hey, this scene has children. We're working on a working road for this scene. It's this. We'll talk about the car work. But like at the top of the day, like before we started filming, the producers was like, hey, we need to mention like if people need time and space to take a break or if things get too heavy. And I'm like, absolutely. And there's a number you can call if you need support. And we'll put that on the call sheet as well. But I told them, I was like, here's the deal. If someone is having a problem on set, I need you guys to be that person to go to because
you're inundated.
I'm dealing with every other thing on this set. And if someone's in a crisis, they need time and attention
that you can't give
that
them.
I can't give them.
Yeah.
And not because I don't want to, and not because I don't care. And I think it's very important. And I think we can also, on a different side, like we can only take care of ourselves to take care of each other to show up. But they need support in the moment I can't give. And I don't want to be in a position when someone comes to me needing something in emergency and I can't give them my full attention. Right.
Absolutely.
And like, that's where producers need to step in as well. And like the producer role is so varied and means so many different things.
It does.
And it's different on every set also. And it's different on depending on the team you have, right?
And that's a big thing too, because I feel like that kind of goes back to that earlier conversation about working your way up.
Sure.
Sometimes I've seen that I am pulled away because I always, if there's something that I need to go, I will walk away from set.
You're in every direction.
But then sometimes the complaint is something where I go, that actually is not something like.
Did that need my attention?
It didn't really
then?
need my attention.
Yeah.
Like you have bypassed because you of a lack of experience.
Yeah.
You think that now that they were talking to you poorly or something. And sometimes I just kind of go, this is just like the process.
Yeah.
Like nobody's trying to point at you and say, like Kyler always says, no one's trying to do their worst.
Oh, no.
You have to expect everybody is trying to do their best.
And I assume everyone is going to show up with the best intention to have the best day that we can do. And like, shit happens.
All the time.
Things are always going to go wrong.
Right. Right.
Like you can't predict the way things are going to go wrong. It will.
No.
But it's how do you navigate it when it happens, and how does it impact your day, and how do you keep moving forward?
Yeah, I think that's the difference between people who do this for a living and people who dabble in it.
Sure.
Because, if I'm going to, I am a full-time filmmaker, so
yeah,
I want to try to get along with everybody.
Yeah.
And establish authority and some kind of process.
Absolutely.
Otherwise,
it's chaos.
It's chaos, and I don't want to live in chaos.
No, and I don't. And that was the problem, honestly, with 911. When I interviewed, the UPM was like, 911 lives in chaos. Like, we thrive in chaos. And I said, no one thrives in chaos.
No.
And I don't want to live in chaos. And you don't have to. That's a upper management issue if that's how you think this should go. On a show that size with that much money, if it's that much of a shit show, there are much bigger issues at play.
I read something is it Chris O'Donnell, the lead?
Yeah.
I read something recently where he came out and said that he was taking over season 2.
Oh, interesting.
And he was like, I'm going to run it the way that I want to run it. And I was like, man, good for him. Because I'm assuming because he, as an actor who's had to deal with stuff.
He's number 1 on the call sheet.
I'm sure he's like, okay. But for an actor to say that kind of means something. Like,
so then at that point, he has to become a producer.
Yeah.
And at what point is he producing and where is he taking that level? So like, okay, if you want things to run a certain way, then you have to be running them. Yeah. So then how do you get involved in that level?
I remember last season hearing crew, you guys have been working, I don't know if you were on the show yet, but they've been working for weeks.
Yeah.
Without a one-liner.
Yeah. Literally I don't understand how that's possible.
I know that I auditioned for, I believe it was episode 3.
Okay.
It was the aunt to the kite girl.
Oh my God, the kite girl.
The kite girl. And
like, we're never going to get past the kite girl, right?
Billy Gnomes came as kite girl for Halloween.
Ginny Garner was kite girl on set of 911. So was one of the grips was too. Like, that's going to be our...
The audition was wild. I go, okay, Kyler goes, I don't know how to give you any notes. So I just played it. I played it, did the thing. And then I, didn't get it, went on, weeks passed, months, went to watch the first episode, and it was so chaotic. Yeah. And Kite Girl was in episode 1. And as a producer, I was like, oh, some shit must have happened where they didn't have coverage for they had to start moving episodes together.
I came on episode 5. So by the time I got there, they were block shooting. They were supposed to block shoot 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4 together. By the time I came on, no episode had been completed. They were block shooting all 4 of them. They owed scenes from every episode. And this was like 2 months into the run. Which is insane.
That's so stressful.
And then it turned into, it was nuts. And then it was like picking up stuff left and right. And then they were rewriting. And then the runtime was too long. So then they were crossing things into other episode. And it just...
that is
that makes me want to go work in a library. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. That show was stressful in a way I never... done.
It's interesting because the first AD role can so frequently also go into safety. Like
absolutely,
you guys
you're
are in charge of safety.
Of safety.
You and Key Grub.
Yeah.
And And there were some things on that show, and I've experienced on other projects, like personally being like PA on or something, where I haven't seen first ADs step up, and I have seen first ADs step up, and I always appreciate when they do.
Yeah.
Because it always makes it always kind of sets the tone for the crew.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like, this is our jobs. This isn't our life, right? So like if something is going on, and I've been in many situations where like we'll start to look at something and I'll be like, hold on, this isn't fucking safe. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And like, if this is the shot you want, one, this has to be established and spoken about way before we're here.
Yeah.
And things change and things shift. It's like, oh, actually, we want to do this or that. And recently, like, gone to producers and be like, this isn't safe and this is why. We can't do it this way.
Right.
Or if this is how this is going to go, I'm leaving.
Do you feel listened to for the most part? Or?
For the most part, I do.
Yeah.
And
does it feel like a shock to them? Like, what do you mean?
Sometimes. Which then I'm like, are you not paying attention?
Yeah.
Like, and also like, I'll bring up safety things way before. Like if we're on a process trailer or if we're like shooting in a road, it's like, okay, if we're doing this in this road, this is what it means.
Right.
It means ITC, it means road closures, it means we have to shoot on a Saturday, whatever it is, to put that into place. And if everyone's like, well, it's too expensive or we can't do that or we can't do that, great. Then we need to reconceptualize what this looks like to do it safely.
Yeah, I remember shooting a movie a few years ago. Mikey Gibson was actually the gaffer on it. And we were doing a car rig. Kyler and I were driving to work. And it was really beautiful, sunny, but the wind was pretty windy. And I was like, put my hand out and I looked at him and he was driving. He goes, I don't know, man. So we called Mikey.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, we're heading on. What are you thinking? He was like, well, wind's like 35 or 45 miles per hour, blah, blah. And I like Mikey. This is just how he comes off to me sometimes.
Well.
And we ended up shifting to blue screen.
Yeah.
Outside. A tornado did hit downtown Nashville. We got a warning in Franklin and found out that the path that we were going to do for the car work was actually where a tornado had gone through. So if we hadn't done, because most people, I got there and I was having to argue with some of the above the line because it was like, I don't understand. It's beautiful. Like there's no rain. I'm like, yeah, the wind is too risky. I don't understand. And even actors sometimes, because I understand they want.
Let's just go for it.
We want to just do it. Like, let's just do it really fast. And then as soon as we got set up to do it, within 10 minutes after putting the blue up and getting everything lit, heard the siren, and we buttoned up base camp in 7 minutes. And we were on delays for like 5 hours. I thought I was going to have to go into an insurance day.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like you mentioned waiting tables. I waited tables for a long time, and they always taught before you go to the table, think of all the things that you need to bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And I think of that in my role as a producer.
I like that.
I'm going to come talk to you. I want to get everything that I need to download so that we can, because you're busy and I'm busy and I want you to have all the information.
Well, and I think that's why prep is so important too, right?
Prep is so important.
Like to have the time to prepare to do things correctly and safely because things will change on the day.
Yeah.
And because things will happen. And like you guys could have been in a situation, like I've been on shows where we pivot for weather and then it doesn't happen.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, it changes every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it's always going to change. And then it's like you wait it out and it's fine. But like if you don't, it's so hard because your gut, like I feel, and you probably have this too, where you're like, I know how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to your gut. And it's better to listen to your gut and have to pivot. And then in retrospect, maybe you didn't have to, but you made the right safe choice at the time. And that's all you can do.
Well, and I think the majority of people that were going to be on set that day recognize that and appreciate the fact that you care.
Yeah.
And that goes so much further than forcing it.
For sure. And like, I'd rather err on the side of safety than not.
I mean, we've seen when people don't and people die.
And that's real. Right?
It is.
And like, I'm not going to put my crew.
Yeah.
Same. I know your shot. You're trying to get your shot. It's not worth the life of my crew.
Yeah.
I don't.
And if you were thinking straight, you would also agree with me,
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm not going to fight about that. It's like, we're not doing this.
No, it's not worth it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not doing brain surgery.
No. We get to make movies.
Yeah. And it's fun.
Yeah.
Or
and everyone should go home to their families afterwards.
Yes. Yeah. Go home by yourself if you want to.
Sure.
You should be able to go home.
Is delighted when I got to get home to my dog. It's going to be great.
Do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
Magic Hour. Yeah, I can talk about that. Magic Hour is a beautiful movie that Katie Asselton and Mark Duplass wrote, and Katie directed, and it stars in it with Daveed Diggs.
Nice.
Yeah, and we shot it in Joshua Tree. We shot for 11 days, which is insane. But here's the deal.
Lovely.
Okay, here's what I do want to talk about.
Yeah, hit me.
When you're making indie movies,
Yeah.
knowing the script and the budget to make it happen and being on the same page of that. Because I feel like a lot of times people will come with a script and you're like, well, you can't do that for $500,000 or $2 million. Like this script is a $8 million movie or this script is a $2 million movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then being aligned about like, okay, if we only have $500,000, how do we adjust to make that script at this money rate? And I feel like that is a huge issue. Like I've been on movies where we're making 4 different movies. The director's making this movie, the DP's making this movie, the budget's making that movie.
Yeah.
And that's when heads butt and that's when arguments happen and that's when things get out of control because you're not aligned from the jump of like, okay, then at this budget, this is how it has to be. And that's true with bigger money too, right? Like the more money you have, the more shit you need.
Yeah.
And then the more you got to have space to put it. And it is more problems.
Yeah.
But also certain scripts have to have a certain budget threshold to function.
Goes back to your whole DP director. How many? Okay, well, what setups are we losing?
Right. Where does it come from?
Yeah.
Can you do half a day less at the house?
Yeah.
Is it worth? And it may be, and that's fine. If you tell me that's worth it, I'll figure out how to make it work in the schedule.
Though,
but
it's not.
A lot of times it's not, and I think a lot
they
of times
haven't thought about it.
Well, and everything is so precious that nobody wants to give up anything. But by holding so tightly to every tiny thing, you're losing the bigger picture. It's like jumping over $1 to save a dime, right? Like you have to have, if your story can't adjust and breathe without some changes, then I don't know that you're creatively telling stories the right way.
Write a book.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's so much easier to tighten your script and get things as tight as they can be in prep, because when you're shooting, things are going to happen and things are going to adjust and things are going to change. And I would much rather, and I tell them, I'm like, lose things now so you don't have to lose them on the day.
Well, and you also need to think about from a like audience perspective, what's moving the story forward.
Absolutely.
And sometimes your scene isn't really doing a lot.
Yeah.
It was a scene that was an artifact from a rough cut or rough draft that just stayed in there because it was one of your favorite original things that you did as a writer.
Sure, but does it work as a whole?
It doesn't. But he got you your financing.
Great.
And now you can cut it.
And there was, right, exactly. You already got the money. It's in the bank.
It's in the bank.
But it's also like, how do we, so now we have to actually make it. Because there's like 3 stages of production, right? There's prep, and then there's the actual shooting, and then there's post.
Yeah.
And like you have to, and there's going to be sacrifices in each stage.
Yeah.
It's, to me, much stronger to go through prep and kill everything you don't have to have.
Right.
Than to get on the day and be like, well, now I'm not going to make my day.
Yeah, no, totally.
And I can look at a day and be like, we're not going to make that day.
Yeah.
And I don't want you in the 11th hour to have to cut things if you could have cut them 3 weeks ago, and it's the same scene. It's the same emotion.
Right.
It's the same message. It gets you there in half a page less. Do it.
Right. So I have one last.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We're getting into the martini.
This is called the Martini Round.
Okay.
So if there was a ticking time clock, it starts now. What sound instantly makes you feel like you're back on set?
A clapboard. Like a slate.
What is one thing that tells you a production is running well?
No one's crying.
What crew position could you never do?
Locations.
That's fair. What is the fastest way to earn respect on set?
Lead with kindness and calmness.
I feel that. What's something this industry taught you about yourself?
I can do just about anything.
Hell yeah. What's one thing every film set needs more of?
Ooh. In what way?
Whatever
Does it
way
matter? I was about to
whatever
say like snacks.
Oh,
one thing they
that's
need
fair
more
too.
of. I don't respect.
Okay. What's the most underrated skill in this industry?
Not reacting with anger when things go wrong.
Fair. Well, part of this job never gets easier.
It's so funny. Laura Kreiner and I were having a conversation where I was like, this one's fucking hard. And she's like, they're all hard. You told me that. And I was like, you're right. They all are hard. So wait, what was the question?
What part of this job never gets easier?
Oh yeah. I don't know how to answer that, because every job is different and every crew is different, and you're always going to run out of time. Like time doesn't get easier. Like, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So yeah, the fact that we don't have an infinite amount of time.
Yeah.
What's something people in this industry don't talk about enough?
Having to take care of yourself.
Hell
first.
yes.
Like I feel very strongly, and maybe that's with age, but like you have to put yourself first in this. At the end of the day, I love my job. I love what I get to do.
Same.
I love my life more.
You need to fill yourself up.
You have to take care of yourself first. And whether that's like, I got a dog and it was like a game changer. Like,
yeah,
I didn't know I needed that part of my life to have something else in it like that.
You have to think about outside of this industry.
Yeah.
Last question. If your career ended with a final shot, what would it be?
Sunset, magic hour. Day, like exterior. Oh, it gave me goosies. Like, just like someone walking away into the sunset.
Would it be you? It'd be you walking away in the sunset.
Dropping my walkie and just going.
So real fast for everybody, if they want to go see Magic Hour.
Oh yeah. So it's in select theaters, magichourtickets.com, I believe.
Magichourtickets.com.
I think it's magichour.com/tickets.
Magichour.com/tickets.
Yeah. It's going to be on VOD soon.
Coming out soon.
If anyone hasn't seen Weird, the Al Yankovic story.
Yes, please watch it. That's fun.
One of my favorite projects I've ever done. Also, the show Somebody Somewhere on HBO is one of my favorite, like, feel-good
that you worked on and
shows.
You enjoyed.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Yay. Studio Monroe is made possible in part through our partnership with Bungalow Studios. If you enjoyed this conversation, subscribe and follow. Until then, see you at call time.